Hello everybody, we are here in Malinovka, standard mode southeast spawn, for a Lighthouse Hall of Fame film featuring WinnieANKA and his M5A1 Stuart from the European server. If it's Mali, you know it's going to be passive spotting. And in this battle there's one artillery and one scout on the enemy team, two artillery and three lights on his. A lot of mediums. It's a scout war. Mali always is a scout war, so we'll see what bush he picks and what the enemy scout does and see what happens. And he's headed off to F4, 5. Makes it up here undetected. Let the shooting begin. The enemy scout still hasn't deployed yet, so they have a temporary advantage. They're getting spots. Enemy team isn't. And they get a quick kill. Other tanks are starting to take damage. T-50 finally wakes up. And thus begins a cautionary tale for people playing on scout maps. When you are on a scout map, kill the enemy scouts first. Give your team the only eyes on the battlefield and you will almost always win the fight if your scout is even halfway competent. Their T-50 was sitting there, lit up, nobody shot him, and now watch what he's doing. He's moving up into a position where he can spot WinnieANKA's team. They're already behind. They're behind 2-3, 3-3 tie now, despite having the only scout spotting at the beginning of the battle. They haven't gained an advantage. Now they're behind two tanks because the enemy scout was allowed to live, and now he's lighting up their team. Take the eyes out first. Kill the scouts on scout maps. Now the saving grace right now is the enemy team only sent one tank to the north and he's about to get blown away, I would think. Whereas WinnieANKA's team did send a force to the north and they're beginning a flanking movement that hopefully will even up the fight. The T-50s moved all the way up to the buildings. And once he got in the game, he actually started playing really well. Winnie's staying out here for the moment. Hopefully people are alert to the fact that they have enemy close to their cap right now. Winnie's going to have to start shooting. I think he understands that. The Hetzer's paying attention for his team and is starting to come back to defend.
We didn't even scratch them. Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy is hit.
And now the PZ-4's dropping back to defend as Winnie tracks the guy. Now he's going to have a tough shot. He's only going to see the very top of this tank as it moves. Oh, and he hits the coupling, gets the kill. Good shot. 6 on 6 to end the fight. Su-85 has to pay attention to the north and ends up dying. And now instead of helping to attack, Winnie correctly surmises that the Churchill and the Type T-34 are going to be able to come in and cap by themselves. There's no opposition over there. So he needs to drop back and help defend, and if they produce a couple of resets, they're going to win the fight. Plus, he's in perfect position to where once his team starts capping, he's going to be able to spot and intercept any enemy that's trying to go back to defend their cap.
That one bounced.
And I might add, just
We
as a side note,
penetrate their armor.
you'll see in the battle fight details, I think WinnieANKA is setting a record here for the least amount of distance traveled in a Hall of Fame film. All he did was move up to F4 and come back. And they're going to win the fight with him hardly moving at all. He doesn't even travel a whole kilometer in the whole course of the battle. He doesn't want to pop up straight in front of the hetzer. He's tracked, not looking at him, so he gets to pump some rounds into him.
Penetration.
One more kills him. Somebody else beats him to the kill. There's no way they can win now. They only have 2 tanks left and they're behind in the cap race. Just a matter of seeing how much damage you can get. Oh, the Matilda says he's hacking. How sweet. Somebody who doesn't understand vision mechanics. And here we go. Cap victory. Oh, now he's asking to report him. I might add, he sent me a shot of this guy after the battle, railing on him and saying that he's going to be perma-banned and he should enjoy his alternate account because the guy's going to submit the film to Wargaming and get WinnieANKA banned for hacking in this battle, which is, if sitting in a bush watching you move around and die is hacking, cool, so be it. That's what good scouting does. It makes people really, really mad. It was a pretty straightforward fight for him, and like I said, he traveled less distance than anybody else in the Hall of Fame so far. He pulled up to F4, got spots. His team chose to ignore the T-50 sitting back here doing nothing, and that hurt them because once this guy woke up and moved forward, he started providing spots to his team. Still was unshot, even though he was detected. And he actually kept his team in the fight, moved up here and helped take over the whole spawn area. Fortunately for WinnieANKA, his team had the foresight to send some people up around the hill, and they were able to flank and press that flanking movement into a cap victory. He wisely chose to go back on defense instead of trying to contribute to cap. It would have ended up a cap race had he not done that, and who knows who would have won. By dropping back on defense, he was able to ensure resets were taking place while his team kept capping, and it allowed a cap victory in the end. It's something to keep in mind. If you watch other replays, you'll see a lot of good players once they break through on a flank, halt the attack, drop back on defense, overwhelm the enemy who manages to attack, and then have secured a numerical advantage for the rest of the fight and just go around and mop up the remaining forces, as opposed to trying to press the attack and force a cap and ending up capping when your team doesn't have a numerical advantage, which basically puts you at a disadvantage because the capping tanks take their guns out of the fight. Once you break through a flank, or in this case, when he sees the flank has broken through and is about to start cap, drop back and defend and ensure you're going to get a victory. From Malinovka, Standard Southeast, WinnieANKA. Happy hunting.